A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us today, Wednesday, the 9th of June 2021. This is Obi-Nwannem News Analysis Hour. We bring you headlines of the day in Nigeria and around the globe. I am Mwakama Onyinyechi. We'll begin with the first headline for this evening. Umuahia Timber Market set ablaze by angry traders, one feared dead. Umuahia Timber Market set ablaze by angry traders, one feared dead. A section of Umuahia Timber Market in Abia State was razed by a enraged mob following the death of a trader who was said to have been shot by a group of vigilante services. The timber market is located along Ahieke Road in Umuahia, the state capital of Abia. An eyewitness who confirmed the crisis said trouble started after traders refused to pay an annual levy of 18,000 naira imposed by the Abia State Internal Revenue Board. The source noted that the State Revenue Board ordered traders who refused to pay the levy to close down their shops. The affected traders resisted the vigilante group, and during the face-off, the vigilante operatives shot one of the traders, who later died, while 5 others sustained injuries. This provoked the traders, who in return raised a section of the market where the office of the local guard was located. Abia State government reacted and condemned the action of the vigilante group. Secretary to the state government, Chris Eze, asked the police to commence investigation and bring the culprits to justice. Furthermore, the government directed the officers and men of Abia Vigilante Service to withdraw from the market, and the leadership of the market enjoined to assist the police identify the arsonists. The second headline for this evening: food blockade. Northern traders threatens to stop food supply nationwide. Food blockade. Northern traders threatens to stop food supply nationwide. Northern traders, under the aegis of Amalgamated Union of Foodstuffs and Cattle Dealers in Nigeria, has threatened to suspend food supply across the nation over the federal government's failure to pay a compensation plan of 4.75 billion naira it had applied. This was made known by the union Tuesday in Abuja after an emergency meeting. The Northern traders gave the government a 3-week ultimatum to implement the signed agreement, which led to the strike resumption in March this year. The union alleged that its members were still being extorted by security agencies in the southeast. We'll recall that the Northern traders had blocked food supply to south, demanding a payment of 4.75 billion naira compensation for lives of members and properties lost during the EndSARS protest and Shasha market chaos. President of the union, Mohammed Tahir, said at the expiration of the fresh 3-week ultimatum, traders would ensure a nationwide blockade of food supply. In the same vein, the traders also demanded the dismantling of all roadblocks on federal highways and an agreement with state government to withdraw service anytime their members were subjected to attack. The next headline: Nigerian Naira backsides at official exchange. Nigerian Naira backsides at official exchange. The exchange rate of Naira against the United States dollar has continued to decline at the official market, also known as the Investors and Exporters I&E windows. This was confirmed on Tuesday's data posted in FMDQ Security Exchange. The domestic currency, however, remains stable at the black market. According to data from I&E windows, it was observed that Naira closed at 411.50 kobo, a 0.11% decline from 411.07 it traded on Monday. Naira experienced an intraday low of 421 naira.96 kobo and high of 400 naira at the NAFEX window before closing on Tuesday at 411 naira.50 kobo. However, the last time the currency closed at the rate of 411 naira and above was on June the 2nd. Meanwhile, the naira on Tuesday remained unchanged. Data posted showed the domestic currency exchange lords again with the hard currency at 502 naira. The same rate has been trading since June 4th, last week. To that effect, the difference between the black market and official market was pegged at 19 naira 50 kobo, translating to a margin of 18.03% as of the close of business on Tuesday. Imo governor says opposition responsible for insecurity menace. Imo governor says opposition responsible for insecurity menace. That's the fourth headline for this evening. Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State has alleged that opposition politicians and dissatisfied personalities were behind the state of insecurity across the state. This he disclosed at the State House after meeting with the presidency at Aso Rock Villa, Abuja, to brief the president on developments in his state. He admitted he could not provide security in his troubled state alone and enjoined stakeholders, including monarchs, religious and political leaders, to engage more with the people to restore peace in the state. He noted that politicians were adamant to speak out against the activities of those propagating mayhem, stating they have questions to answer, and that those responsible for destroying public property must face the consequences. Speaking on security situation in Imo, the governor maintained that security agencies were already on top of the situation in the state, and he was engaging various stakeholders on how to improve the security situation. He encouraged people to come around and do their businesses because normal life and activities have resumed in Imo. He went further to say that it is not only Imo State that have security challenges, that other states have same challenges as well. The final headline for this evening: dialogue with Nnamdi Kanu, Gumi tells presidency. Dialogue with Nnamdi Kanu, Gumi tells presidency. Popular Islamic cleric Sheikh Abubakar Gumi has charged the Buhari-led government to initiate a dialogue with the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipo, Nnamdi Kanu. This is so that the causes of the raging agitation in the old eastern region will be known. The Islamic cleric said government should be frank and engage with IPOB's people, requesting to know what the problem is. He said the problem is that government is not being considerate. Over the years, Nnamdi Kanu has been advocating for the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra, which he has always anchored on the rights to self-determination. Former presidential candidate of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, Professor Kingsley Moghalu, has called on the federal government to discuss with Kanu and other agitators in the country, insisting that Kanu and others do not pose as threats to Nigeria unity. And that brings us to the end of today's news analysis. We appreciate your time with us. Do make it a date with us tomorrow. The program remains Obi-Nwannem News Analysis Hour. The news report is written by Ijeoma Njoku. I remain your host, Nwakama Onyinyechi. Thanks for listening.